From the Detroit Free Press, it's Friday, October 4th. Here's what's going on today.
This is Phoebe Wall-Howard, a reporter at the Detroit Free Press. With fewer than 2,000 Lincoln Aviator luxury SUVs sold since their debut in August, some owners report problems ranging from the emergency brake unexpectedly taking hold while driving to alarms going off randomly and a dashboard screen that scrambles information. Now, these SUVs can range from $52,000 to $90,000. Many of the issues appear to be linked to software, which controls more and more of the systems on today's vehicles. So while new vehicles are increasingly high-tech and complicated, Consumer Reports says most customers really shouldn't have these problems. A spokeswoman from Lincoln Motor Company said problems are an exception, but the company will continue to troubleshoot and keep customers happy.
I'm Elisha Anderson, a reporter for the Detroit Free Press. The former head of internal affairs for Michigan State Police said she wanted prosecutors to review a trooper's violent arrest of a motorist. We looked into that incident described in a lawsuit. It involves a man with a cane driving drunk in Royal Oak. We got video of the traffic stop. It shows a trooper pull a black driver from his vehicle and slam him to the ground. The trooper said the man refused repeated orders to get out of his SUV, then grabbed a cane. The trooper referred to the cane as a weapon. Tawana Powell, who's the former head of internal affairs, calls the trooper's actions discriminatory and potentially criminal in her lawsuit. She says a boss denied her request for prosecutors to review what happened. Powell describes the incident as part of a pattern of state police mishandling cases. A state police spokeswoman declined to say why the department didn't seek the review by prosecutors, citing the pending litigation.
I'm Teresa Baldus, the federal courts reporter. You could call them the grieving scammers. Hundreds of Americans every month make money off their dead relatives by pretending they're still alive so that they can collect their Social Security benefits. For years, these con artists have flown under the radar, until now. Here in Detroit, the U.S. Attorney's Office has prosecuted more deceased pay fraud cases than almost any other district in the country. In 5 years, more than 40 people have been charged with collecting their dead relatives' Social Security checks by pulling tricks of all sorts. One man posed as his dead mom for 25 years. Another paid a homeless woman to pose as his dead mother when investigators came to the house. Another man faked a friend's murder. These scammers are costing taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. But the feds say they're finally catching up to them and saving taxpayers a whole lot of money.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Emma Keith. A small Michigan island has a big deer problem. Grosse Ile residents say the hundreds of deer roaming their island are getting destructive and more plentiful. They're eating gardens, causing car accidents, and they're not afraid of people. The island culled the deer annually for 10 years, but this year it canceled the cull. Township Supervisor Brian Loftus says the township had to cancel after hitting insurance issues. Residents aren't satisfied. They want a cull and a better reason for why one didn't happen this year. Township meetings have been crammed with people demanding answers and raising solutions. But the township isn't listening. When 2 police commissioners pushed for better reasons for the cancellation, township officials voted them off the commission. Loftus says the township may have a cull early next year, but nothing's settled. For now, Grosse Ile residents say there's too many deer and too few answers.
This is John Gallagher of the Detroit Free Press asking, what makes for a good office environment? Is it just fancy furniture and neat architecture? Or does the company's culture have a lot to do with it? University of Michigan professor Felix Cabo studies this and says firms need to understand their own culture and how workers interact with their physical space to create good outcomes. Case in point, Ford Motor Company, now remaking its entire campus in Dearborn outside Detroit. Ford wants to encourage greater teamwork across its many departments, so Ford is devoting a lot of time and energy to creating physical workspaces that break down the social barriers among its workers. Getting it right is crucial as Ford tries to prosper well into its second century.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department. The Michigan Sports Hall of Fame will induct its newest class on Saturday in Detroit, and the star of the show will most likely be Vladimir Konstantinov. The former Red Wings defenseman's budding career was cut short hours after Hockeytown celebrated its first Stanley Cup championship in over 4 decades back in 1997. That's when a limo accident on Woodward in Birmingham left him permanently injured. Our Jeff Seidel caught up with Konstantinov and the people who take care of him to see what the last 22 years have been like for him and just how much he's grasping Saturday's honor. Check out Jeff's column this morning in the Free Press and on freep.com.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer. See you on Monday.